This is once again Viewpoint with Eniola. And this wonderful evening, I have the privilege to host once again Ame. We tried last week to make this happen, but due to the connection problem we faced, we couldn't talk so much and we had to postpone it unscheduled because we don't know what's going to happen. But he has put in so much effort to make sure that we can come online this evening. It is some minutes before 6 o'clock on my end, and I think in Nigeria there should be some minutes before 5 o'clock. Unfortunately, I also have another guest today, so you will be seeing me two times today with different guests. But now I have with me Ame. Ame is a musician, is a music consultant. He is one who has introduced or played his music to the betterment of the society. He preached the gospel that will enhance the society to move forward. I remember listening to one of his songs that he sang about NEPA. Okuko Yeni Owo, we don't want darkness. Let NEPA give us light. And that song has been in the late 90s or early 2000s. And believe you me, many places in Nigeria or in Africa, we still have problems of light or electricity. And now we still have internet. We have people pay thousands of naira or thereabout to connect to the internet. And nonetheless, these are not, it's not yielding anything. So we want to talk about the impact of music and on the society. How can we use music to influence the society? Like the likes of Fela, who was always on the neck of the government, preaching change, preaching when there are bad governance, is always on their neck, which is music. But these days, what we have is singers or artists who sing only about love, only about loss, and their view. So it is my pleasure to have you, Mr. Ame, online because I looked at the kind of music you sing. I know that you have been consistent with the agitation for change. So we want to get to know you. We want to get to know more about you and your kind of music and how you started and how you think music in the 90s, in the 20s, the 2000s, or in the 80s and in the 2020. What do you think music has done to the society and how do you see the change? Join me as I welcome my special guest, Mr. Frank Uke, popularly known as Ame.
Thank you very much.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for creating another time despite the challenges we faced the previous time. And it is so that we didn't schedule this, but fortunately it is happening live and the connection is good. I can tell you, thank you for the great effort that you've put into it. And thanks to all your team who has made this possible, despite your schedule, your tight schedule. Would you please once again introduce yourself to our viewers all over the world?
Okay. Ham Hame, also known as Frank Uke, used to be Frank Uke, but I had to change my name at a point to Hame. Hame is a name given to me by birth. So I picked that due to criticisms as regarding using an English name while I propagate African heritage. So I'm a musician, musicologist, a multi-instrumentalist, and an entrepreneur.
Wow.
So I think that's pretty what I can say for now.
If I ask you a question, what qualifies me to call myself a musicologist?
Oh, okay. For you to be a musicologist, you need to study both the practical and the theoretical aspect of music. You need to be able to explain the nitty-gritty of music. It's not everybody that plays music that would be able to explain the details, the main stuffs inside. I mean, what makes music what it is. So for you to be a musicologist, you need to be able to study that. That's the only way you would be able to qualify as a musicologist.
Well, thank you very much. Can we know a little about your background? How did you start music?
Okay, music has always been in the family, runs in the family. My father, my mother, they met in the church. In fact, they married in the church. And I believe, in fact, my father was a choir master in a Catholic church back then.
Wow.
And those days, because of, I believe that influence, it must have rubbed on us, So while being a church boy, we continued that singing in churches, leading choirs, and all that. And I believe that's how everything started before we decided to take it to another level of professionalism, where I felt okay, I need to exhibit my talents beyond the shores of the church.
Okay, at what time or what stage, or should I say, in which year did you start to do that, to go outside of the church?
Okay, professionally, I started my band 1996 with by bringing a few young guys, training them the art of playing musical instruments, grooming them and um, making them be able to play the kind of, selling my idea of music to them. And over time, they grew with the band. We all grew together, and I must say, God has been great.
Really interesting. So, way back 1996, how do you
Okay.
see music compared to now?
Okay. There's been a whole lot of difference right now. Back then, I want to say that music has not been very lucrative. It's not as lucrative as it is now. Then, aside that, back then, the kind of music that is being portrayed right now is not the kind of music that is being portrayed then. Back then, bands matter. Right now, you might not necessarily even have a band. Once you have a good song, you are out there. So back then, most of us want to do songs that would that will speak, to the consciousness of people's minds.
Mm.
Though I wouldn't say they don't do it now, but it's much more subtle right now. And I want to blame them actually. It's just the kind of society we find ourselves.
So, how would you time your kind of music?
Okay, I would want to say, though people want to call me an Afrobeat musician, but I always like um, calling myself a musician that plays good music. Um,
Mm.
or sometimes I say I play world music. And the reason is because I try as much as possible to cut across every genre of music is what I try to cut across. Any music that I write songs, I perform songs, I do songs that appeal to me based on what I'm going through, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm listening to. Those are the things that influences the kind of music I want to do at a particular time. So today I might decide I want to do Afrobeat, sometimes Afro pop. In fact, even when those times that people say I do Afrobeat, I always tell them I don't. They are not even Afrobeat. It's an Afro pop kind of because it has the pop kind of, though it have the African touch to it. I try to put a lot of different ideas, high life, jazz, and all this. Whatever comes to my mind is what I do and try to create something unique.
So, I want to take you back a little to when
Okay.
I first knew you. I think it was in the late 80s, if I'm not mistaken, or early 90s that I first knew you and I met you in the church.
Okay.
And way back then, you were the church main vocalist.
Okay.
And in the entire environment, you sounded different.
Yeah.
You sounded
Okay.
different. Do you still see yourself sounding different from other musicians? In quotes, there were several other people who were singing within your age that time, and we listen to the kind of church music we listen to all around. But whenever we have the privilege to hear you sing, you were always different. Is it still the same now? Do you still sound different, or do you see yourself as being different from other musicians with regards to your style of music and the way you choose your songs?
Yeah, I believe I try my best to be unique. I try as much as possible, though there's no time, there's no way a good musician will not have influences at different points. But I try all those things that I listen to, I make them, they influence me, but I try to make something, I try to put myself in the music. In whatever music I do, I put myself in it, whereby if you're hearing it, you know, oh, this sounds different. It sounds unique. It's good. You would, so people would tend to say, oh, it sounds like this. It sounds like this. It sounds like this. It's just because there's a bit of this, a bit of this, a bit of that. You can't actually say that I sound 100% like somebody. It's not. I try my best to be me, because I listen to different kind of music, and all those influences are what I put, or all those things I get are things I put into my music to try and create a new kind of music.
That's a good one. Another thing I want to say, I don't know if I've told you before, but you mentioned it in your introduction that you brought young guys together to form your band. I remember at the time, I think it was also in the late 90s that I visited you, and you said, "Oh, we're having a rehearsal. Come and play keyboard." I was like, "No, I don't know." You said, "You can do it. You can play it." Then that was the first time I played, which it was a rehearsal, and it was just once. And what's I know you might not remember this anymore, but what kept the memory on my head is the fact that you were just seeing me, and the first thing you could say is, "Come, let's go do music. I'm rehearsing somewhere. Come, let's go." That's how your passion for music is. Is it still burning the way it has been burning till date?
Okay, I want to say that I want to actually give that to the. I mean, I would want to give the glory to God, because I believe over the years I've seen that by God's grace, I have a gift of seeing through what people don't see. I see through what people don't actually see. People would naturally want to look at a finished product, but by God's grace, I want to say a calling. It could be a calling, I don't know, but I want to say that God has given me a gift to be able to discern what I mean the what I'm able to discern what people and other people are not seeing in somebody musically. So when I see you, it clicks to my mind that okay, this person can do this, and I just try as much as possible, to tame that person towards that, push that person towards that, and it's always been working. I give all the glory.
I want to also give you the credit that you're the first person who gave me microphone to sing, and since then I've been singing, and that should be
I give
way
God.
back 1997, 96 is no 97 is too far. I think way back 96 or
Okay.
thereabouts, 96,
Okay.
97. And
Okay.
after the year 2000, I started leading choirs. So
Wow.
I joined your choir, I think, in the early 90s as a very young teenage boy, and you groomed us to the stage whereby we can confidently sing. And anywhere we sang, people always say, "Oh, you sound different." But I know till today I don't sound like you. And that's one of the things I like about myself. And you already spoke about it, that you always pick from different people and you make yourself unique. I think I've tried that also. One thing I learned from you, Mr. Frank Ame, is discipline. And people don't like me for it. But I always tell them that I had a master I had a teacher, I had a trainer who, when you say rehearsal is starting, it does not joke anymore. Are you still that same person?
Well, I believe I can't change. I try. People have tried to change me at different times, but because I have the drive to always. In fact, my greatest fear is failure. I detest failure, and I would say people say discipline. Well, I don't see it as trying to be disciplined. I mean, to be a disciplinarian, but I try my best to avoid unnecessary failure, and that is why I try. Once it's time to work, you need to. I try to push people to ensure that they give what they are supposed to. They do what they are supposed to do. At that time, they must put all the discipline that it requires to achieve that thing. So I don't want. It's not that I aim to be a disciplined person or something, but it's just that out of fear of failing, out of fear of somebody not excelling, I put measures down to ensure that at least that person gives or does what is supposed to do at the right time to get the desired result.
Okay, maybe people will also see me with this view that you're making, because I have over time trained a lot of people, a lot over time within the course of 20 years. I have been in about 7 or 8 different churches. I have coordinated choirs. Even here in Germany, I have coordinated choirs. I have musical groups that I coordinate. I've gone to concerts, performed, and that discipline, I will call it discipline, is still in me, that I always will give the credit back to you one way or the other, because I don't know if I'm that disciplined person, but when it comes to music, I don't want to hear rubbish. I'll be having a guest today, and I heard him sing, and I wasn't playing well because I don't know the songs he was playing. I was just trying to follow up, but he was so focused. I just asked him a question. I said, "How were you able to sing through?" He said he has seen a lot, so he's used to so many things. All he wants to do is to give his best, regardless of what is behind. So,
Yeah.
regardless of the present situations, with the way that we have a change in the music industry now, what has changed about you? Because you that I know, you're a kind of person who brings people together to make music, but now you can sit in your room and make music. How do you see it now?
Okay. I would I would want to tell you that this has actually affected a whole lot because you can't actually gather people as you used to be, as it used to be. But what we do is we have constant, it has grown. The music, what we do right now has gone beyond the time when we need to be together every time, because technology is there now, and what we do now is we do online. We meet online most times. Right now, we meet online. A few of the people that I work with right now also have their own personal studios, so where we could just share clips of what we want to achieve, songs and all that. We share it with amongst ourselves, and okay, you practice it, did this and all that, and that's what we've been doing lately. The everything happening right now has actually changed a whole lot, but we'll still try our best to still be together, even if we are not together physically, but we try to be together technologically. We do songs, music technologically, and it's been great. It's been great.
Okay, looking at some of your performances. Okay, before I would go there, where have you performed?
Yeah. Okay, I want to just mention a few right now that I can remember. I know I've played at the I used to play. I play regularly at the World Music Day (NTA), the French Cultural Center, Alliance Francaise, the Shrine, the African Shrine, North Starport Michael Hotel, um, Chevron Recreational Center, and a whole lot more that I can't actually remember right now.
And
Chevron Recreational Center too.
this you did with your band, your crew, because
Okay.
you can't play in these places alone. You need band members, you need your crew to do this.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
my question, yes, that's where I asked you this because you didn't actually get my question before now. How is it now
Oh,
bringing these people together? How is it now bringing these people together with regards to the present technology? Like everyone wants to stand alone.
yeah.
How
Oh, okay.
the change?
Like I said earlier on, right now, I have something that looks like
Oh no. No, I don't want this network to do this presently. This has been
a
going fine.
music academy. Though it's not running right now because of the COVID-19, but we do a virtual. Okay, we do virtual classes right now.
Yes, the network is
So we do virtual classes right now, and that has been what we do. Then most of these, my guys, my band members, most of them are professionals right now. They've actually grown, and like I said earlier on, a few of them have their music and their studios. So what we do is I share my ideas with them. So this is what I want you to play. This is what I want you to play. They all learn it at their own different times. Then we now set up a particular time where we meet. We could meet through the internet, online. We talk about it. Sometimes we use Zoom and all that. So we talk about it. We work on that. Then before we go for one or two rehearsals, and we are good to go. So it
like how
doesn't
many
necessarily have to be us meeting at every point in time, because right now most of them are professionals now. But I also have a section of people that want to learn music, so which I teach them separately, in a music academy.
like how many songs have you released so far?
Pardon?
Like how many songs have you released so far? How many songs do we have from you so far? I think we're having issues with your
Oh,
network.
okay. Right now, I would say
You're having an incoming call. What you need to do is just to bar every incoming call so that it won't disrupt the interview session. So, um, so sorry once again for the disruption on the network, or whatever. Those are one of the challenge or some of the challenges we face, and we hope that this will someday come to an end. So, as I wait for him to come back again, let me play one of his songs, one of his live concert that I so much enjoy. I think he sang about Nepal. So, listen to this. So, I have you once again. Thank you for joining back. I want to play one of your songs or one of your concert that I liked. And this was way back 2009.
light, yo. We want to light, yo. Everybody, don't be only me go do this song. If it's, you know you are a true Nigerian and you experience power failure in your house, I want you to sing this song with me. Once again, we say, never, never give us light. Your response will be, everyone you know, will make your work. Are you ready? Never, never give us light, yo. We want to light, yo. Imagine, 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 yo. Ha! Imagine, imagine, imagine. I got to never office, they're not dirty life. Welcome to where we the supply life. We celebrate the day of not thinking of life. I never thought, when I go tell us say, when I go allocate, billions of naira for ministry of power and steel. Yes, all this big money, where you go, you don't know. For the year 1999, when I'm from the sunset, by the year 2000, we go get constant light. 2000 come, the project continue. 2003 up to date. Gaga kewe ya go, this is to be seen. We go find a solution. Hey yeah, it's time for change now. What we did there, 2009 for change. Yeah. We go find a solution. Yeah. About the one conscious you. Hey yeah. My solution to this problem. Oh yes. Today promises tomorrow promises. Oh yeah. We are tired of this unfulfilled promises. Oh, before the end of the night, we're not going to be video. That's the way we feel. You know, go enjoy life. That's the way we feel. You got to come out in life. I go take out for money, take out for you, take out for now.
Wow. Wow. I wanted to start to dance, but I realized you're passing a message that we're not supposed to actually dance to. So that was you 2009. That's way back, I think 11 years ago. You're preaching change. Do you still preach change in your music or through your music?
Yeah, I still do. It's just that it's more subtle right now. Um, nobody can be like Fela, and I know I've never tried to be like Fela, but I believe if you adopt a particular strategy and isn't working, then you re-strategize and use another method. So what I do right now is I still do songs that touches about on change. In fact, apart from change, also I believe that aside the government, even every one of us need to have a change in mindset about ourselves. We need to believe in ourselves. You need to dream bigger. You need to have a different mindset. Even because back then, most times we talk about the government, the government, the government. If we as the citizens don't have a good, if we don't have a change of heart, a change of mind, and believe and know what we want, the government would only give us what they feel they want. Because and so that's why I have strategized. I now decide to channel my energy not just to the government, but even to the masses, trying to make them know the importance of themselves. When you believe in yourself, you know who you are, then at some point, nobody will be able to give you crap. It would not just be somebody talking about that thing. It would be a societal thing. It would be a change that would even come naturally, because everybody's mindset is programmed that way. And that is how that's the kind of music I want to do right now. I want to do songs that would lift everybody, that will make you feel that, okay, you are supposed to be this, you're supposed to be this. At some point also, it doesn't mean we will not talk about the government, but I try as much as possible to make it much more subtle, so that, because sometimes when you are just hard on them, even they switch it off, they switch off before even listening to the message. So what I do right now is that I do the song I want to do, but in between I put my message, and you wouldn't even, it would just only come to your subconscious mind that, oh, this is actually speaking to me. And that's what I do right now.
So how would you define music? What do you see music? Like, to me, sometimes music is an escape route. When I have so much on my head, I want to sing. When I see things not going well, I want to sing. So what is music to you?
Well, to me, I believe music is my life. Music is a way of expression. It's a way of expressing different categories of my life, of what I see at different points in time. We go through a whole lot in Nigeria, and different times have different moods, different mindsets. So the only way, the tool to talk about that, to express that, is mostly through music. So I see music as a way of expressing myself. I believe that that's the best way for me to express myself to the immediate community, or to the society at large. So without music, it will be as if there's no story to tell. There's no history. There's no life, about that person. So that's the way I see music. Actually, everything I go through, everything I see, every situation around me, inspires me to do music every day.
So with regards to your kind of music, do you perform in weddings, in social activities?
Yes, of course. Although it's for I select the kind of persons or clients that I want to work with, because the audience must be right. So I want to do songs for a client that actually believes in what I do. So I'm very selective actually in that regards. But once I know that you are the kind of audience, that I want is going to be there, then I do it.
Okay. What next? Where do you see yourself musically in the next decade? What do you plan to do? What are your plans? What should we expect again?
It's only God that can, that can cement everybody's dreams. I have a large dream, a big dream to, get my music everywhere. I want everybody to, to get to know about my songs, to get to know my personality. I'm working on a few projects right now, which I might not be able to talk about right now. But soon I'm going to be releasing a couple of new songs to the world. So I'm believing that in the next few years, I want to be everywhere musically, globally.
Would you tell us some of the challenges of doing music, especially your kind of music?
Oh, okay. My music has evolved over the years, and with passed through a lot of, different situations. There was a time when we didn't even have musical instruments to even rehearse. We have to be looking for studios and all that at exorbitant prices and all that. And the challenge of financing also is actually there. There's a whole lot of challenge, but the major challenge has always been finance. Putting your music together, getting it there is a challenge. Then also another challenge that we have as musicians in Nigeria is that people always want, for example, if you want to play in a club, they would want you to, for example, imagine you trying to promote your music, trying to push your music, and you'll be told, okay, sing Fela's songs, things like that. That sometimes or most times is a challenge, because if Fela did not propagate his music, if he did not push his music, though even then he had challenges pushing his music, but it's a big challenge, because for you to be able to excel musically, you need to go through a whole lot, trying to make people know about your songs. And I think the major challenge actually is finance.
You reading your profile, I read that you've shared stage with people like Yinka Davids.
Yeah.
That sounds impressive. Which other superstars have you shared stage with?
Well, it's a quite it's a lot, because we at Celebration, for instance, most of the musicians, in fact, if you are a musician in Nigeria and you don't get on that stage, then you are not seen as a musician. So there are a whole lot of them, Sonny Neji, the likes of even the Lucky Dube. I was at that show, that same show. Femi Kuti, the likes of Sheyi Sholagbade, the likes of the Plantation Boys, Two Face, Dibia, Nice, a whole lot of the musicians. We've at one point or the other we've shared stage
together. Well, before I let you go, I read that you're also into music consultancy, and I saw some of your videos teaching young peoples. I was like, oh, this man will not change. So how do we consult you? Do you attend to school? Are you stationed at a place, or you go places?
Okay. What I do is, like I said earlier on, I have a music academy. Then aside that, I work with schools. I work with I'm engaged in some schools, to teach music. Then some schools also consult me. Then I also do home teachings, for persons that want one-on-one contact. So it's just once you get a call through to me, we talk about the details and all that, and we get to work.
Wow. So where can we get your songs? On which platform can we get your songs?
Right now, it's on Reverb Nation. It's on YouTube. Some of them are YouTube. We're working on, I think we're working on other platforms. It's going to be on Spotify and other platforms in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Can I get your YouTube handle on YouTube? I think it's Harry
Frankie 008.
Harry Frankie 008 on YouTube. Okay. Let's see if I can put this out there. So I spent almost an hour with you, and I think you've tried so much on ensuring that this network is stable. So I have some other personal questions. Your journey through music, I know that at the time you went to school in the north. I think this was in Bida. Then at what time did you actually study music?
Well, after Bida, after my encounter, though I've always, trained myself musically even before I went to study. Over the years, I passed through. In fact, at a point in school, my secondary school days, I did music up to SS2 or SS2. Where every other person, as at that time, music was nothing in schools then, but I did it up to SS2. And I was opportune to work with a few a musicologist, Wale Adetiran, who groomed good, the likes of Sheyi Sholagbade, Shola Lizin, and other artists were all in that choir then, and that was where we first learned the music. Then before I went ahead, to study music at the Museum Center, and it's been, and all those times I kept on reading books, I kept on studying, doing courses and all that in music along the line.
Wow. I knew you as a singer, then you started playing keyboard. At the time I saw you playing the lead guitar, and later I saw you play saxophone. And I would challenge you that it might be wrong, that I saw it in you that whenever you face challenges with instrumentalists with regards to an instrument, you pick up that instrument. Is that true?
Okay. Well, you could be true. Yes, that's true. I could remember the saxophone. At the point of picking the saxophone was, I can't remember for other instruments how we came, but for the saxophone, I can remember very well. We were having a few shows at some points, and I would want my band boy, the saxophonist, to do a kind of, I want them to do their solos in a particular way, play in a particular way. They will tell me, "Oh, Oga, you can't. It's not possible. Saxophonists don't play that way." I will get, because I have this thing in me, in my head. There's a way I want it to sound, So I just decided, okay, out of the anger that, okay, you feel because I'm not a saxophonist, then it can't be done. Okay, then I decided to start it up, and so in fact, I now use that, even though I couldn't play as much as possible as back then, but anytime I get on the saxophone and do that thing that I wanted to do, then the person, that's my guy, that my saxophonist that could play very well, will now still wonder, he will still want to look at how am I doing it. So I think you're actually right with that statement. Most times I carry, or I end up playing those musical instruments as a result of me trying to get out something, from the musical instrument.
I think I heard from you once that whatever you can mime with your mouth, your instrument should be able to play it. I want and you're like, since your mouth can do it, why can't your saxophone not do it? Why can't your trumpet not do it?
Of course.
And people, a lot of people, they contradict that idea. They're like, So I also learned that from you. Many times I have rehearsals with instrumentalists. I will say, if I do it in my mouth, you should be able to do it with your guitar. no matter how you do it. So for many people who are watching me, so if you think that I just started this, I didn't start it, you are meeting my Oga, someone who I learned it from, that if your mouth can do it, then your instrument should be able to do it. Yeah. So what message do you have for young people who are trying to come into music generally?
Okay, I would want to say that music is a good stuff. Is very good, not the financial only, but it keeps your soul. It makes you, sometimes you might not even have money, but when you have good music, you are on top of the world. And so I would want to say that if you want to do music, the passion must be there, because you must look at, it's not going to be every time, it's not every time that sometimes some musicians don't even get, they don't have the money, but the passion is always there. And for example, even Fela, when he was alive, probably he ought to have been a multimillionaire, but I would want to say that he wasn't as rich as he ought to be. But after he died, his music, lead after him. So the passion is the most important thing. If you want to go into music, just know that it's not going to be all rosy, because a lot of people want to go into music because of the money and the fame right now. It's not going to be all that rosy. You understand me? But if you have the passion, I believe, would make you be able to go through all the phases in your music career. So just believe in yourself and keep doing whatever you want to do and make sure you give the best.
Oh, can I ask you, how many musical instruments can you play?
Well, by God's grace, because I work with different children now, so there's no musical instrument I can't handle, but I know that I play the saxophone, at least to an extent, the keyboard, the trumpet, the guitar, the drum, clarinet, the flute,
Oh,
little of the bass guitar, the violin, the viola, the French horn, the tuba. So I might not be a professional in every of these instruments, but there's none of these instruments that I can't lay my hands on and do justice to.
whoa. I can name few people who passed through you musically. I saw the likes of one Francis. I don't know his surname, but I know Francis.
Okay,
Maybe
Honor.
Francis Honor.
Honor.
Yes. Yes, I saw him. I think he lives in the US now, and he plays saxophone. But I remember when he started with you, he was a trumpeter. And I would want to say you were one of those people who brought him also to the limelight. How many other people do you remember that has passed through you?
Well, I wouldn't want to say that I brought Francis I wouldn't want to say I brought him to the limelight, but I would want to say that at some point at a point in time, we crossed paths. And he's been a very good brother, a younger brother to me. There's been a whole lot that I can't mention right now. There's been a whole lot that I can't mention, a whole lot of them, that have worked, that have passed through me. If I start mentioning, I might leave one person at a particular time, and that wouldn't be too nice. So I wouldn't want to mention names. They all know themselves, right? At least they're watching them. If they get to watch this, they know themselves, So, but I give God the glory because everything is by God's grace. Whoever has passed through me, it's not. I'm just a tool, to them, So I wouldn't want to mention me.
Okay, one of the last questions I have is, since you started from the church, do you still play in the church?
The volume, I can hardly hear you.
I said, since you started from the church, do you still play in the church?
Yes, of course. I still play in church. I work as a music directors for a few churches. When I get called on, I music direct in churches.
You direct, but you don't sing.
Pardon?
You direct, but you don't sing.
Well, I believe that the greatest thing a person could do is, I do sing actually, but most times I'm in the churches. I try to groom a lot of, because I believe I have that gift, so I try to groom as many as possible. I believe that when I have people that come up, I'm still the one coming up, So I do that a lot. I still sing actually, but not like trying to be the main person. I don't hustle to do that,
Thank you very much for your time and for sharing your knowledge, or for sharing your ideas with us, and the road so far, the way so far. Are you finding it difficult to hear me?
Yes, I can hardly hear you.
Okay, let me bring my microphone then closer. Is it better?
The volume seemed lower.
I didn't do anything to my settings. It remains the same. Is it better now?
It's still the same.
Okay, since you can still hear a little, let me ask this question, which will be one of
Okay.
my last questions. What message do you have for other musicians with regards to the message of change? Because do we all keep quiet, or should we all keep quiet and only sing about love? Or should we agitate more a little for change through music?
Okay. One of my songs that I wrote, I think 2014, I named it "Stand for Something." Stand for something, and the song tends to talk about everybody standing for something, trying to be. You need to live for something. You know, yes, the society does not actually encourage, it doesn't encourage people talking about, talking to the moral, to the society about the moral values, but let's just try as much as possible. Whatever we do, let's still remember that it's not just all about us right now. It's about the generation to come after us. What is going to be said about us? So at any point in time that you are able to put out something that will talk about what is happening in the society, you could put it in a subtle manner. We don't necessarily have to try to be like Fela. The era of Fela was categorized, as an era that was, like the military regime and all that. But right now, there are other ways we could do it without being very offensive, and that change would definitely come.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the effort you have put in place to make sure that we have a successful conversation this day.
Thank
I
you.
really do appreciate having you, and I hope that we'll hear from you soon enough with regards to your upcoming songs, the songs you're working on. Then lastly, do you plan on collaborating with any other artists?
Yes, I would like to. I look forward to performing. I mean, I am doing collaborations with a few other musicians in the future. I always like. I don't like. I like things getting out there, and I don't like letting things out of the box. Before I do it. But just watch out for beautiful collaborations in future.
So lastly, could you tell us few of your role models musically?
Pardon?
Could you tell us few of your role models musically? Whom do you listen to?
Wow. Oh, okay. Um, Funny enough, my role model has always been Majek Fashek. Musically, people get surprised when I mention him, because I've always admired his kind of music. Back then, in fact, while I was growing, I listened to a whole lot of his music, and it really inspired me. And he has always been one of my major role models, which I want to actually mention right now. I have a lot of them right now. I have a lot of them, but it's the one I want to mention right now.
Having the saxophone in front of you, would you like to play us something? Or beside you, rather?
How many what?
Seeing your saxophone beside you, would you like to play us something before we say goodbye? Or would you not? I'm catching you unaware.
Okay. I actually have to. That will take us a few minutes to set up because I didn't actually set it up.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to do anything.
Then never mind. Never mind. Let's
Okay.
leave it. Never mind. Maybe some other time I will host you just to give us some tunes on the saxophone.
All right.
So thank
All
you
right.
very much for your time, and we hope that we'll get you to have a live chat with you once again on your new project or your upcoming project. And I wish you well. I wish you best of luck, and I hope that many people will get to listen to your songs and understand your kind of messages. And I hope that we all do more the way you're putting more effort into passing the message, because music is about message. It's not just about the melody. The messages are also important, which is what you have been doing through your music. One of the songs of you that I listened to during this lockdown period is that you can be whatever you want to be. You can still reach up to the stars. I think I'm going to play the songs after, or maybe if I get hold of it, I'm going to play it during or after this program. So thank you once again, Mr. Ame. And
Thank
I
you.
also want to thank everyone who has stayed with us, connected with us one way or the other, who has made sure that we are not alone on this. And for all those of you who has shared, thank you for sharing, and don't stop sharing. As many times as you share, we are reaching out to different people at different times, and they will know that regardless of whatever they are going through, musically, financially, it is not the end. Some people have been on the journey for a quite long time. They might not be millionaires, they might not be billionaires, they might not be Davidos of this time, but it doesn't mean that they are stopping. They are still doing their bit to make sure that a particular change at a particular time comes, and this is coming. Like for example, you've been singing about NEPA way back 90s till 2001. You sang about it on a very large platform, and we still have that problem. Someday this will be over, we hope, and we'll still look back and say, oh, thank God for people who have sang song to correct NEPAs. Thank God for people who have sang songs to correct the flaws or the wrongdoings of the government or whatsoever. So I really do appreciate you, and I want to say a very big thank you to you personally for the kind of upbringing that you showed to me, and it has actually helped me a lot in my music career, and also personally, discipline wise, learning to do things by yourself. Because I remember that you, at the time you start playing the keyboard and singing, it wasn't perfect, but if there's no keyboardist, you were always there to do it by yourself. And I started doing it on my own. If my Oga Frank can do it, then why can't I do it? I also bought the saxophone because I have a friend who plays saxophone. I will tell him, you are
Okay.
not playing what I want. He say, Benny, this is not easy. I went to buy the saxophone. So I actually learned a lot from you. And I believe that if you have impacted me and several other people, and I know that I've also impacted several other people, so the connection is still going and you're flowing very well. So thank you very much once again, and I hope that you stay safe and stay blessed. So we'll meet again. This is once again Viewpoint with Eniola. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the rest
It's
of
my
the evening,
pleasure.
sir.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So thank you guys for staying. This is Viewpoint with Eniola once again. I've had a couple of minutes, or I think over an hour with Ahmed. This is a chart that we've been looking up to having for a very for quite some time. And once again, I want to remind you that the next hour or so, I'll be having Onu Peter online with me. So don't go anywhere. Don't stay too long. I'll be going offline, but I'll be right back with Onu Peter. You've seen the flyer. Very soon you will get to know about him. One of the captions I wrote is that one who is setting the pace in a challenging world. So thank you very much. To my special thanks to everyone who has shared, who has contributed one way or the other, and for you, those of you who will still continue to share. It has been a wonderful moment getting to know Ame, the journey so far, the impact through music, and what have you. I think we have a long way to go, and it is better we start going. And he has promised us that a lot is still coming in the future with regards to songs of change, and I know we'll get there. So thank you. Don't go too far away from your phone. We will be right back. I think by 8 o'clock, it will be in about 1 hour, 15 minutes or 20 minutes thereabout. I'll be back with Ono Peters. Ono Peter, not Peter. Take care of yourself. Ono Peter, yes. Thank you, admin. So, have a wonderful night, evening. Do enjoy the rest of the evening, as we'll be expecting to connect back with you in a couple of 1 hour or thereabout. German will say bis gleich. Ciao.